Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Bible in a Year with Lovie, day 107. Look at us go. We are reading the Life Application Study Bible, 3rd edition, New Living Translation, for anyone interested in following along. Today, we are going to start 2 Samuel. I'm super excited because this is where David is going to become king. So I'm really excited to share these adventures with you guys. He was known as one of the greatest kings, and we know from previous chapters that he was chosen and anointed by God. So I look forward to sharing his stories with y'all. So if you guys are ready, and today I'm recording right outside of Roanoke, Virginia. Beautiful little, the view is insane. There's mountains all the way around. It's lush, it's beautiful. And so I woke up in a really fabulous mood. And then I got out to walk my dogs, and it's like hot. It's like humid hot, not like sunlight hot, but it's the kind of hot that definitely makes you sweat. It makes you feel like you stepped into a sauna. But the view is so beautiful. I didn't mind breaking a sweat. I could have used the sweat anyway, burn off some calories, right? For those of you who have been following along, you know I've been struggling with my weight and also with smoking. So I am going to start my weight loss journey on Monday. I got prescribed the semaglutide injections, and so I will start those on Monday, along with diet and exercise. And I think the only way that I'm going to stick with it is if I have accountability partners. So I am going to be posting videos of my weight loss journey with you guys. Also, I have struggled with smoking. I go from cigarettes to vapes, from vapes to cigarettes, but just back and forth. So right now I'm on vapes, and they're killing me, bro. They're killing my lungs. So I found this thing called Fume, and what it is it's pretty much a fidget. It looks like a puffer. It's shaped like a vape or a cigarette, and it has little flavored cartridges, but it's just like breathing flavored air. So I've read good reviews on it, so I'm praying that helps me quit smoking. I am taking my health very seriously, and I also know that I have been destroying my temple for years, and for me to be out here delivering the message, the word of God, I need to be doing my best to live right and live according to what he says. And he says that the body is his temple. So I need to take better care of his temple. So I am going to be sharing my journey with y'all, and I just ask y'all to, be kind whenever I show y'all what the scale says, because it's very disappointing to me. It hurts my feelings. But I'm going to bring the scale with me on the truck, and we're going to keep up with that stuff together so y'all can hold me accountable. With all that said, I appreciate those of you who follow along. I appreciate you returning viewers, all the subscribers and stuff. If these videos are helping you, just imagine, how much they could help somebody else. So, I would just ask that you like, subscribe, share, let someone else get the word of God. Like I said, if the videos are helping you, then there's a good chance they could help somebody else. With all that said, let's dive right in. 2 Samuel chapter 1. Here we go. After the death of Saul, David returned from his victory over the Amalekites and spent 2 days in Ziklag. On the third day, a man arrived from Saul's army camp. He had torn his clothes and put dirt on his head to show that he was in mourning. He fell to the ground before David in deep respect. "Where have you come from?" David asked. "I escaped from the Israelite camp," the man replied. "What happened?" David demanded. "Tell me how the battle went." The man replied, "Our entire army fled from the battle. Many of the men are dead, and Saul and his son Jonathan are also dead." "How do you know Saul and Jonathan are dead?" David demanded of the young man. The man answered, "I happened to be on Mount Gilboa, and there was Saul leaning on his spear with the enemy chariots and charioteers closing in on him. When he turned and saw me, he cried out for me to come to him. 'How can I help?' I asked him. He responded, 'Who are you?' 'I'm an Amalekite,' I told him. Then he begged me, 'Come over here and put me out of my misery, for I'm in terrible pain and want to die.' So I killed him," the Amalekite told David, "for I knew he couldn't live. Then I took his crown and his armband, and I have brought them here to you, my lord." David and his men tore their clothes in sorrow when they heard the news. They mourned and wept and fasted all day for Saul and his son Jonathan, and for the Lord's army and the nation of Israel, because they had died by the sword that day. Then David said to the young man who had brought the news, "Where are you from?" And he replied, "I'm a foreigner, an Amalekite who lives in your land." "Why were you not afraid to kill the Lord's anointed one?" David asked. Then David said to one of his men, "Kill him." So the man thrust his sword into the Amalekite and killed him. "You have condemned yourself," David said, "for you yourself confessed that you killed the Lord's anointed one." Ain't that crazy right there? Ain't that crazy? Yeah. Then David composed a funeral song for Saul and Jonathan, and he commanded that it be taught to the people of Judah. It is known as the Song of the Bow, and it is recorded in the book of Jashar. Your pride and joy, O Israel, lies dead on the hills. Oh, how the mighty heroes have fallen. Don't announce the news in Gath. Don't proclaim it in the streets of Ashkelon, or the daughters of the Philistines will rejoice, and the pagans will laugh in triumph. O mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew or rain upon you, nor fruitful fields producing offering of grain. For there the shield of the mighty heroes was defiled. The shield of Saul will no longer be anointed with oil. The bow of Jonathan was powerful, and the sword of Saul did its mighty work. They shed the blood of their enemies and pierced the bodies of mighty heroes. How beloved and gracious are Saul and Jonathan. They were together in life and in death. They were swifter than eagles, stronger than lions. O women of Israel, weep for Saul, for he dressed you in luxurious scarlet clothing, in garments decorated with gold. Oh, how the mighty heroes have fallen in battle. Jonathan lies dead on the hills. How I weep for you, my brother Jonathan. Oh, how much I loved you. And your love for me was deep, deeper than the love of women. Oh, how the mighty heroes have fallen, stripped of their weapons. They lie dead. After this, David asked the Lord, "Should I move back to one of the towns of Judah?" "Yes," the Lord replied. Then David asked, "Which town should I go to?" "To Hebron," the Lord answered. David's two wives were Ahinoam from Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. So David and his wives and his men and their families all moved to Judah, and they settled in the villages near Hebron. Then the men of Judah came to David and anointed him king over the people of Judah. When David heard that the men of Jabesh Gilead had buried Saul, he sent them this message: "May the Lord bless you for being so loyal to your master Saul and giving him a decent burial. May the Lord be loyal to you in return and reward you with his unfailing love, and I too will reward you for what you have done. Now that Saul is dead, I ask you to be my strong and loyal subjects like the people of Judah, who have anointed me as their new king." But Abner, son of Ner, the commander of Saul's army, had already gone to Mahanaim with Saul's son Ishbosheth. There he proclaimed Ishbosheth king over Gilead, Jezreel, Ephraim, Benjamin, the land of the Asherites, and all the rest of Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he became king, and he ruled from Mahanaim for 2 years. Meanwhile, the people of Judah remained loyal to David. David made Hebron his capital, and he ruled as king of Judah for 7.5 years. One day, Abner led Ishbosheth's troops from Mahanaim to Gibeon. About the same time, Joab, son of Zeruiah, y'all know my pronunciation might not be right, led David's troops out to meet them at the pool of Gibeon. The two groups sat down there, facing each other from the opposite sides of the pool. Then Abner suggested to Joab, "Let's have a few of our warriors fight hand to hand here in front of us." "All right," Joab agreed. So 12 men were chosen to fight from each side, 12 men of Benjamin representing Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 representing David. Each one grabbed his opponent by the hair and thrust his sword into the other side so that all of them died. So this place at Gibeon has been known ever since as the Field of Swords. A fierce battle followed that day, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated by the forces of David. Joab, Abishai, and Asahel, the three sons of Zeruiah, were among David's forces that day. Asahel could run like a gazelle, and he began chasing Abner. He pursued him relentlessly, not stopping for anything. When Abner looked back and saw him coming, he called out, "Is that you, Asahel?" "Yes, it is," he replied. "Go fight someone else," Abner warned. "Take on one of the younger men and strip him of his weapons." But Asahel kept right on chasing Abner. Again, Abner shouted at him, "Get away from here. I don't want to kill you. How can I ever face your brother Joab again?" But Asahel refused to turn back, so Abner thrust the butt end of his spear through Asahel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. He stumbled to the ground and died there, and everyone who came by that spot stopped and stood still when they saw Asahel lying there. When Joab and Abishai found out what had happened, they set out after Abner. The sun was just going down as they arrived at the hill of Ammah near Giah, along the road of the wilderness of Gibeon. Abner's troops from the tribe of Benjamin regrouped there at the top of the hill to take a stand. Abner shouted down to Joab, "Must we always be killing each other? Don't you realize that bitterness is the only result? When will you call off your men from chasing their Israelite brothers?" Then Joab said, "God only knows what would have happened if you hadn't spoken, for we would have chased you all night if necessary." So Joab blew the ram's horn, and his men stopped chasing the troops of Israel. All that night, Abner and his men retreated through the Jordan Valley. They crossed the Jordan River, traveling all through the morning, and didn't stop until they arrived at Mahanaim. Meanwhile, Joab and his men also returned home. When Joab counted his casualties, he discovered that only 19 men were missing in addition to Asahel. About 360 of Abner's men had been killed, all from the tribe of Benjamin. Joab and his men took Asahel's body to Bethlehem and buried him there in his father's tomb. Then they traveled all night and reached Hebron at daybreak. So that's all we're going to read in 2 Samuel today. We'll pick up tomorrow on chapter 3, and we'll read through to chapter 5. Now we're going to flip over to Luke chapter 14. This is a lot of red letters. This is a lot of Jesus speaking. So you guys, if I haven't said it enough, let me just reiterate. Pay attention. This is Jesus' teaching. Like, this is the most valuable. This is some good stuff right here. So we're going to read about half of it. Somewhere in there. All right. One Sabbath day, Jesus went to eat dinner at the home of a leader of the Pharisees, and the people were watching him closely. There was a man there whose arms and legs were swollen. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in religious law, is it permitted in the law to heal people on the Sabbath day or not? When they refused to answer, Jesus touched the sick man and healed him and sent him away. Then he turned to them and said, which of you doesn't work on the Sabbath? If your son or your cow falls into a pit, don't you rush to get him? To get him out? Again, they could not answer. When Jesus noticed that all who had come to the dinner were trying to sit in the seats of honor near the head of the table, he gave them this advice. When you are invited to a wedding feast, don't sit in the seat of honor. What if someone who is more distinguished than you also has been invited? The host will come and say, give this person your seat. Then you will be embarrassed, and you will have to take whatever seat is left at the foot of the table. Instead, take the lowest place at the foot of the table. Then when your host sees you, he will come and say, friend, we have a better place for you. Then you will be honored in front of all the other guests. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Let me repeat that one more time. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. In other words, don't put yourself on a pedestal. Don't do that. Like, okay, yeah, you got it going on, but don't put yourself up here. Because you ain't no better than him is down here. You know what I'm saying? Just because this person over here might not make as much money as this person over here does, it doesn't make this person any less important. This person might have been through something, might have struggled, might not have had the proper education to get a career. But they got the wisdom because they've had experience in life. Where this person has a career and makes good money but don't have no wisdom. You know, like, always be humble. Be humble, bro. Like, it don't matter how far you climb that ladder. Always remember where you started at. Don't ever think you're better than where you started. And rest assured that just because you climbed that ladder and you made it up here, that don't mean you can't fall. Don't think God won't knock you down off the top of that ladder, because he absolutely will. Soon as you stop exalting him and start exalting yourself, soon as you quit being humble and kind, oh yeah, nobody's too good to get knocked off the top of their ladder. Trust that. So just be humble. Stay humble. Verse 12. Then he turned to his host. When you put on a luncheon or a banquet, he said, don't invite your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors, for they will invite you back, and that will be your only reward. Instead, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Then at the resurrection of the righteous, God will reward you for inviting those who could not repay you. You hear that? I think it speaks for itself. I think this is where I'm gonna stop. Yeah. I think there was some good meat in that. And I think we can all learn from that. Like, don't ever get so high up that you look down on people. You know, like, Remember to feed the hungry, help the homeless, be there for those people who can't do things for themselves. Jesus just said, when you throw a dinner party, don't invite people who will invite you back. Invite those who you know can't afford to invite you back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you show true love. With all that said, man, that's it for today. We'll pick back up tomorrow. Remember, if you want to see a change, you have to be the change. We lead by example. We follow by design. If it's not a God thing, it's not a good thing. I'm about to start driving. I pray over y'all that you have a hedge of protection around you and that you can go out and love like Jesus. I'll see y'all tomorrow.